What's happening, Reds? Welcome back to Anfield Wire, your home for the latest Liverpool transfer news, breaking updates, and all the drama from Anfield. Today we're diving into the Szoboszlai, Real Madrid links, captaincy twists, and big 2026 priorities you need to know about. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss a Liverpool update. Liverpool's stance on selling Dominik Szoboszlai to Real Madrid as agent speaks. The Hungarian midfielder's future has been under the spotlight in recent days, with talk of his interest in representing Real Madrid, and a public statement from his representatives. Liverpool fans get understandably jittery when Real Madrid's name is mentioned in relation to their star players. The Reds have lost too many top talents to Los Blancos over the years, and relations were certainly not helped by what Liverpool felt was a derisory offer for Trent Alexander-Arnold last year, before he ultimately ended up at the Bernabeu the following summer. Since then, Ibrahima Konate, Ryan Gravenberch and Alexis Mac Allister have all been linked with a move to the Spanish capital. Last week, it was Dominik Szoboszlai whose links with Real drew unwanted headlines. In truth, those reports were based on little. His international manager, Marco Rossi, last week claimed was Szoboszlai's dream to represent Real as a child, a fantasy millions throughout the world will share. Vinicius Jr. then amplified the noise, with the revelation that the Liverpool midfielder is among his closest confidants outside of the Real dressing room. That he also mentioned players from Barcelona, Manchester City, Chelsea and AC Milan was somewhat overlooked. Other than that, there have been no actual reports stating Real is actively interested in Szoboszlai. In many ways, the speculation is a microcosm of the modern media landscape, where noise and filling in the gaps are king. That Mohamed Salah stated Szoboszlai is now among the world's best players, and the recent comparisons to Steven Gerrard, no doubt serve to heighten the story. Admittedly, the Hungarian's recent admission that contract talks have not progressed in recent weeks has provided an interesting backdrop to this inflated transfer tale, but with over 2 years remaining on Szoboszlai's current deal and talk that he could be a future Liverpool captain, there's little concern internally that a new deal has not been forthcoming. Should that remain the case after this summer, the situation may need to be re-evaluated, of course. But for now, any suggestion that Liverpool is expecting Real to come knocking is incorrect. Even so, those conversations would not last long. The Reds have no intention of allowing this season's standout performer to depart. That was underlined by comments from Szoboszlai's agent, who moved to quell quickly to dispel any media furor before it could begin. It's completely normal for the public, when Dominik is performing like this, to talk about what's next and if there's something higher, Matyas Esterházy told Hungarian outlet NB1. For us it's not a topic. So at the moment, to talk about what will happen in the summer, in my opinion, is not correct. Not to mention, Liverpool are one of the biggest clubs in the world and Dominik is in a position within the team that has a lot of reserve, so we are not looking outside or elsewhere. On this occasion, there's no need for panic around Anfield. The immediate focus for Szoboszlai will be maintaining his outstanding form. The ex-RB Leipzig man has scored 5 in his last 8, and is in a shoe-in to be crowned Liverpool's player of the season. Liverpool news: Virgil van Dijk left gutted as favourite to inherit captaincy named. Liverpool captain Virgil van Dijk has been left gutted following a fresh development at Anfield. Liverpool's injury list continues to dominate headlines as the Reds look to finish the season in strong fashion. Arne Slot's men are paying the price for a costly autumn period, and a number of squad setbacks promise to unravel much of the club's recent good work. Slot's side head into Sunday's Premier League clash against Nottingham Forest missing a number of key names. Liverpool have made the most of the resources on hand to win 4 of their last 5 games despite the setbacks, but the squad is entering the most testing portion of the campaign as fatigue sets in. The Reds are still in the running to clinch a couple of trophies this term, assuming the Premier League crown is out of reach. Champions League and FA Cup honours remain on the line, though certain absences will drastically affect selection in the weeks to come. With that in mind, the club have been particularly rocked by the latest piece of fitness news. And Mirror Football dissects the latest happenings around Anfield as the club looks to resume its Premier League ascent. Van Dijk backs Szoboszlai for captaincy. Dominik Szoboszlai is looking like a shoe-in to be named Liverpool's player of the season after climbing to new heights at Anfield this term. And with more strings added to his bow, the Hungarian has been back to one day take over the armband. Ensure our latest sport headlines always appear at the top of your Google search by making us a preferred source. Click here to activate or add us as preferred source in your Google search settings. Calls for Sobos to inherit the captaincy have been gathering pace this season. The 25-year-old has scored 10 goals and laid on 7 assists in 35 outings this term, which is all the more impressive given he's been moved between central midfield, right back, right wing and other responsibilities. Szoboszlai has even earned comparisons to club icon Steven Gerrard as a result of his purple patch. And incumbent captain Van Dijk paid his teammate major praise by giving his own seal of approval to one day take over the armband. "Obviously he has been very good," said the Dutchman. "Also a player who I think can still make the next step in terms of being a leader for this team. It starts by leading by example, and that's something he has done so far this season. But also everything around it, there is still progress to be made, and that's a good thing in my opinion, so hopefully he will be very important for the years to come at Liverpool." Van Dijk, who has a contract at Anfield until 2027, stopped short of anointing his teammate for the role right now given he still enjoys his own place of seniority. However, such high praise from the current skipper further illustrates the level of respect Szoboszlai commands within the squad. Endo injury news gutting for Liverpool. Liverpool were recently rocked by news that Wataru Endo could miss the rest of the season following his injury in the 1-0 win at Sunderland. The Japan international got his foot awkwardly caught in the turf while attempting a clearance, all the more agonizing given it was his first league start of the season. Endo, 33, hasn't been able to crack a place in Slot's midfield but helped the team out by filling in as a makeshift right-back. Usual picks Connor Bradley and Jeremy Frimpong are already on the treatment table, while Joe Gomez has been in and out with injuries for months. Van Dijk expressed just how gutted the rest of the squad was upon learning the extent of Endo's injury. However, the skipper put on a show of unity in light of the setback and highlighted Endo as an important figure despite his lack of prominence. "It's a shame, we were all really gutted after the Sunderland game," said Van Dijk. "I had a similar injury when I was at Southampton, a foot injury, and it's not an easy one to take. But we are here for him, we are going to be together with him all the way and support him with everything he needs. It's not great, he is such an important and respected member of the team, he's one of the leaders and he always leads by example as well. On the pitch he gives everything and you saw that in the game. It's a big blow but we have to deal with it and we will. Hopefully it's not going to take too long but it looks like it will be a while." Trent Alexander-Arnold pays classy tribute to Diogo Jota at Real Madrid. Trent Alexander-Arnold has paid a touching tribute to his former Liverpool teammate Diogo Jota, who tragically lost his life in a car accident last summer. Former Liverpool player Trent Alexander-Arnold's most recent heartfelt gesture honoring the late Diogo Jota has caught supporters' attention. The Portuguese striker sadly died in a car crash last July, along with his brother Andre Silva, in Spain's Zamora region of Sanaa. Liverpool withdrew the number 20 jersey as a mark of respect, and fans still sing Jota's name at fixtures. His legacy lives on through various tributes, with both Anfield and Molineux, where he previously played for Wolves, serving as memorial sites where supporters can pay homage. The football community united to remember the two men following their untimely deaths. A group of Liverpool players, headed by Virgil van Dijk and Andy Robertson, travelled to the funeral service in Gondomar, Porto. Van Dijk and Robertson brought floral arrangements displaying the squad numbers Jota and Silva wore at their clubs. Despite Alexander-Arnold's departure from Liverpool several months prior to Jota's passing, he has continued to honour his memory. Upon his return to Anfield wearing Real Madrid colours, he left flowers alongside a moving message dedicated to Forever 20, calling Jota a dear friend who lit up the room. The duo shared a strong bond during their Liverpool days, and now the England star has opted to feature Jota's squad number on his footwear, a gesture to keep his mate symbolically present wherever he takes to the pitch. Sharp-eyed supporters noticed that Alexander-Arnold's boots display the number 20 alongside an infinity symbol. Alexander-Arnold was spotted wearing the boots during Madrid's 1-0 victory in the first leg of their Champions League playoff against Benfica in Lisbon on Tuesday evening. The 27-year-old spent 5 campaigns playing with Jota at Liverpool before making the switch to Spanish heavyweights Madrid. Speaking after the game with Benfica, he slammed the alleged racist abuse targeted at Vinicius Jr. He said, "I think when you see something like that, the referee activating a racism protocol, you know it's something serious, a serious incident, and that's what has happened. What has been reported is a disgrace to football. It's a disgrace to the sport, a disgrace in society as well. There's no place for it. It's ruined the night for everyone. We hope that there is an investigation and that justice will be served to the player." Jota, for his part, joined Liverpool from Wolves in September 2020. The striker proved instrumental in the Reds' Premier League title triumph last term, featuring in 26 matches and netting 6 goals. Darwin Núñez delivers perfect response to Saudi axe with message to Al-Hilal owners. Darwin Núñez sent a pointed message to Al-Hilal's owners just days after the former Liverpool striker was omitted from the club's squad for the Saudi Pro League. Darwin Núñez sent the perfect message to his own club's owners after being frozen out at Al-Hilal. The former Liverpool striker finds himself out of the picture in Saudi Arabia, just 6 months after making the move to the Middle East from Anfield, having been left out of his team's squad for the remainder of the Pro League season. With Saudi sides only able to register 8 foreign players born before 2003 in their squads, Núñez has been forced to step aside after Karim Benzema was signed during the winter window, with the former Real Madrid star effectively taking the Uruguayan's place for the remainder of the league campaign. Explaining the decision to drop Núñez and former Arsenal defender Pablo Mari, Al-Hilal boss Simone Inzaghi said, "The decision was difficult, but that's the job of a coach. He makes many decisions every day, even in every training session. Núñez and Pablo are good players. I want them in all competitions, but we know the restrictions on registering foreign players. Time was of the essence, and I made the difficult decision. I calmly informed the excluded players of my decision." Despite such a big setback, Núñez can still play in the AFC Champions League for Al-Hilal, and he grabbed his latest opportunity with both hands. The 26-year-old scored both goals in a 2-1 win over United Arab Emirates side Al-Wahda, just days after being omitted from his side's league squad. Having scored the winner 13 minutes from time after Al-Wahda had equalized during the first half, Núñez turned and stared towards the director's box at the Kingdom Arena in Riyadh, seemingly in a pointed message to his employers. Núñez's goals ensured Al-Hilal finished top of the league stage of the competition, having already secured a spot in the last 16. Núñez now has a maximum of just 5 games remaining to play this season, with the possibility that he could only make 2 more appearances before the end of the campaign. Al-Hilal faces Roberto Firmino's Al-Sadd next in the knockout stages, with the last 16 games taking place over 2 legs before the competition moves to 1-legged games from the quarterfinals. It would appear likely then that an exit will be on the cards for Núñez in the summer, with his move to Saudi Arabia having not worked out as planned. Liverpool may not be best pleased either, with the Reds set to miss out on some performance-based add-ons, having agreed to around $14 million, £10.4 million, in extras from Al-Hilal. Liverpool has 4 major priorities in 2026 that are even more important than Arne Slot transfers. Liverpool midfielders Dominik Szoboszlai and Alexis Mac Allister have both been linked with moves elsewhere this week, offering an important reminder amid contract talks. When Liverpool revamped its midfield in 2023, it did so under the guidance of Jörg Schmadtke, a temporary sporting director who was familiar to Jurgen Klopp. It wasn't the typical setup for a transfer window. But 3 years on, it would be safe to say that Liverpool made some good decisions at that point. The likes of Jordan Henderson and Fabinho moved on, with Dominik Szoboszlai, this season's top performer, plus Ryan Gravenberch and Alexis Mac Allister coming in. Under Arne Slot, the trio won the Premier League. This week, though, there has been speculation about the futures of Szoboszlai and Mac Allister. Like Gravenberch, they will have 2 years left on their deals come the summer, the point at which negotiations tend to accelerate. Indeed, Szoboszlai has already spoken openly about discussions between his representatives and Liverpool. Tying all 3 players down again should be a big priority. Szoboszlai was linked with Real Madrid off the back of some comments his national boss Marco Rossi made suggesting that was once his dream club. His agent has since played those down. Obviously he has been very good, Virgil van Dijk told reporters. He is also a player who I think can still make the next step in terms of being a leader for this team. It starts by leading by example, and that's something he has done so far this season. But also everything around it, there is still progress to be made. That's a good thing in my opinion, so hopefully he will be very important for the years to come at Liverpool. Likewise, Mac Allister was name-checked this week as an option for Manchester United. The chances of that move happening seem very slim for a variety of reasons, and his father has confirmed that the Argentine is happy where he is. But alongside Gravenberch, who was sensational last season and has been generally good in this one, they should be the future of the Liverpool midfield. Curtis Jones, whose contract only runs until 2027, is another one who talks need to progress with. So for all that, more transfers are required this summer, even in midfield, where Liverpool could arguably do with an upgrade on Wataru Endo. Those key men in the center are likely to shape the narrative too. If Liverpool could tie down the 4 quality midfield options that it already has, it would go a long way towards safeguarding what the next few years look like, regardless of changes in other parts of the field. In any case, anything other than good news on that front would mean a vast amount more being spent to find replacements. What Liverpool must avoid at all costs is a repeat of the summer when most of its current midfield arrived, where it left things too late and gave itself a huge amount of work to do all at once. Before it adds any more players to its roster, putting an end to speculation about some vital existing parts is even more important.